Well, students, today we will discuss the topic inclusive education. This is your MEd paper. Okay, this topic is also included in the B.Ed also, inclusive education. So these three topics we will discuss: inclusive education, then RCI Act 1992, right? The full form of a RCI is Rehabilitation Council of India. And third, we will discuss the models of inclusion. These three topics are most important, and every time this question comes, right? Question comes from inclusive education, different. One question comes from RCI and third from models. Okay, these are the important. That's why these all the three topics I'm discussing in this class, in today's class, right? So first we understand the inclusive education. Under the inclusive education, we will discuss concept and meaning of inclusive education, need, key features of inclusive education, importance, features, barriers to inclusive education, and what are the few measures for implementing the inclusive education. Then we will discuss the RCI Act, little bit history of RCI Act, concept and meaning of a RCI, salient feature, aims and salient features of RCI Act 1992. Then who can apply for the RCI accreditation process, RCI courses, and functions and responsibility of RCI Council. And then under the model of inclusion, we will discuss these 5 models. Number 1, push-in model, full inclusion model, partial inclusion model, WANG adaptive learning model. Okay, सिंपल में एब्रीवेटेड में WALMB आ जाता है समटाइम्स द मॉडल, राइट? एंड द टीम टीचिंग मॉडल. ओके, all the 5 models. So these are for the special education students, right? So okay, we discuss one after the other. What is a inclusive education? So guys, inclusive education is called the inclusion. Okay, you can also call the inclusion. It means inclusive education. So it is a such kind of a education where, okay, first I read the definition. It includes everyone with non-disabled and disabled people learning together in mainstream schools, colleges, and universities. Inclusive of education states that a normal student and a differently able should get equal opportunity to see the education to. So it is coming. Okay, ये थोड़ा नीचे जा रहा line. Okay, so what is the inclusive education? Inclusive education is a such kind of a education where one normal student and disabled students both learn under a single roof. Getting? This is called the inclusive education. Okay, so now you have to understand, okay, who are the disabled people, who are the people who needs the special education. So guys, if you know some students, if they are visually impairment, they are physically, okay, not fit, okay, these students come under the category of disabled people. Okay, sometimes, okay, so under the inclusive education, what the concept of a inclusive education says, inclusive education means whosoever the disabled person, whether he or she is physically disabled, whether he or she is visually impairment, or any kind of a problem, if the student has, then in any case he has to learn together with a normal student under a single roof. This is under a mainstream education, and this concept is called the inclusive education. Okay, like see in the figure, see the graph, see the images. Hana, you can see that, you know, some are the handicapped student, some are normal student. Okay, might be some are, you know, a visually impairment student, but all are playing together, all are studying together. So this is called the inclusive education, right? So definitions, in the next slide we talk about the definition. So some educationists say that inclusive education release new dimensions, not only on the learning, however, of the specialized learning. The second definition is that inclusive education is that education during which general student and special student I think you have got it now. General student means normal. Normal student having no problem, having no disability. And the special students means having the disability. Might be physical disabled, might be visually impairment, might be lower IQ level, hana, might be problem of learning, hana, might be they are the slow learner. These all comes under the category of special students. Okay, so inclusive education is that education during which general student and special students get an education along with same faculty with no discrimination. Okay, this is called the inclusive education. Up now we come on the point, because whatever the topic we do that, so it starts with the need of inclusive. What is the need of that particular topic, particular thing? What is the need? Okay, everything starts with the need. So what is the need of inclusive education? Number first, it provides an opportunity for children in which disabled children get opportunity to progress mentally along with the normal children. Got it? Why? If the student is a disabled, why we are providing a special class to that student, right? Why we are giving the, we are separating the student from the normal student. Okay, why? Because that student, disabled student, also having the same right. Guys, you are the teacher, you are the principal, you must know that when you separate such kind of a student, they develop a inferiority complex. Okay. So second need is that both normal and handicapped children take education together normally, due to which a natural environment is created between them, which develops a sense of unity, brotherhood, equality among the children. When you start giving the, when you start separating the special students, okay, when you start arranging a special teachers, when you are separating from the normal children, so guys, they will lack unity, they will lack the brotherhood, they will lack the, equality. They develop this inferiority complex among them, right? So we have to give special care to those students. Okay, and in this topic we will learn how it is possible and how we have to give, right? So third is emotions. Like, third need is that what is the need of an inclusive education? Emotions like learning and social competitions are also developed in children through it, right? And last is need of inclusive education in today's era. It has a special importance because only this education can bring change in today's society. The most important line, okay? I read again. In today's era, it has special importance because only this education can bring change in today's society. So it should be encouraged more and more. Guy, why I'm saying that it is a most important line. Okay, I give you the examples in coming slides. Being disabled, they have done wonders. Okay, so do not pass judgment to any of the student, right? So give a more and more opportunity to those, if they need the special attention, if they need the special education, special educators. Okay, this is the responsibility of the school to provide the special educator along with the general teacher. General teacher teach in the class, that, Hana, this is a normal practice. But if in your class, some students might be 3-4 students are disabled, 3-4 students are special education students, okay, might having the visual problem, having the disability, having, they are the slow learner. So guys, this is your duty. This is the duty of the school to provide the special educator along with the general teacher. Okay. Why? Because in today's era, it has a special importance because only this education can bring change in today's society, right? This is a new concept of inclusive education, right? Pehle kya hota tha? In previous times, there are the, special schools, okay, for a special education students. But you know what is the result of that? Actually, such kind of a student, they develop the inferiority complex. Okay, they didn't do anything. After that, lot of a research, then it has come on the point that there is a more need of an inclusive education. And guys, I tell you the, bitter truth. Since independence, we are ignoring this class. We are ignoring the special education students. We are ignoring the, such kind of students, right? So this is the reason, new concept has come, inclusive education, where the normal children and disabled children, any kind of a disability, they have to learn under a single roof with the same faculty with no discrimination. Also, नीड चल रहा था ना हमारा, हाँ, also, अब ये देखो, what is the need? Okay, this is the next slide. Need. In place of the old education system, the new education policy is being used in modern times. It is important to highlight the inclusive education does not accept a particular school or a classroom. ये देखो आ गया ना, whatever I was saying. Okay. So guys, do not make a, make a new classroom, particular classroom for a, such kind of a student. Okay. Inclusive education concept has come. If, for example, students having the disability, okay, you have the class in the first floor. So this is your responsibility of the school to make the ramp over there. Huh? So that, because he or she cannot lift from the stairs, he or she can easily go with the ramp through his or her tricycle, जो bicycle होती है ना, handicapped की, right? So it is important to highlight that inclusive education does not accept a particular school or classroom. And guys, you have seen that whenever the inspection committee comes in a school, when you are building a new schools, there are a lot of, instructions over there. So when the inspection committee comes and he also takes care of that, there is a ramp facility in your school or not, there is some equipments which is needed for the which is needed for the special students, you have or not. Okay, if you don't have, they don't give the affiliations to them. This is the reason many of the schools, they got, rejected, and they got such kind of a deficiencies. Okay, and unless they complete the deficiencies, they do not get the recognitions. Okay, so now separating disabled children from normal children is no longer valid, as children with disabilities have the same right to participate in educational activities as normal children. Okay. अब ये देखो, now in this slide, okay, I'm showing you some of the examples. Okay, I want to show that some of the great personalities being disabled, they have done wonders. So how you can ignore these kind of students? This chapter is in your syllabus now. This is in your syllabus, B.Ed or M.Ed. Why it is because you are going to become teacher and principal, right? You cannot ignore such kind of students, right? Stephen Hawking. First up, देखिए, first or second picture. This is a Stephen Hawking. He gave the theory of exploding black holes. Scientists say quantum mechanics, worked with space-time singularities. And the last picture, third one, is Albert Einstein. Okay, you all know that. He gave the theory of relativity. He was a Nobel Prize winner, right? And third picture, देखिए, John Clark. John Clark was born without legs. Because of a rare genetic disorder, he set the Guinness World Record for the fastest 20-meter walk on two hands. They all were disabled, but they have done wonders. So now the next is, what are the key features of an inclusive teaching and learning? Okay, जैसे था ना inclusive education, now the term has come inclusive teaching and learning. Okay, when the term comes inclusive teaching and learning, what are the features of inclusive teaching and learning? You can check it. I have also given you the last year papers. This question has come. Okay, so in all the three topics, question has come, right? And always come. So what are the key features of inclusive teaching and learning? Number one, All students have an equal right to education. Okay, that's why we have to, teach them under a single roof. Next, classroom should be made up of a student with mixed abilities. Third, no children should be separated from the main groups based upon the discrimination. Number four, appropriate activities should be planned and each student's personal needs taken into consideration. Next, create an accessible environment. ये देखो आ गया अभी. Right, I was talking now, it has come. Create an accessible environment, wheelchair ramp, visual alternatives to lesson content for students with hearing impairment. है ना, उनको hearing सुनने में दिक्कत है, उनको कम सुनता है उनको, right? Support should be provided to all the students to assist and allow them to reach their full potential. So this is a duty of the teacher to provide these all things. You cannot say that. Okay, in your parents teacher meeting, you have seen that many teachers, they blame that they talk with the with the guardian, with the parents ki your student hai, he is a very slow learner. Guys, you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't pass this statement being teacher. Right, this is your duty. It has come in your school. Most of the time he is over there, he or she is over there. Actually, you don't know how to tackle, you don't know the psychology, you are not B.Ed, you are not done M.Ed, and you are passing such kind of a judgment, right? So have you seen the movie of a Tare Zameen Par? Just I reminded the movie of Tare Zameen Par. It was by the Amir Khan, the student, the the boy over there having the problem of I think dyslexia problem, if I'm not wrong. Right, so everybody he was scolded by every person. Then Amir Khan being teacher came in the school, he found out the problem. Okay, and he started work on the problem of the student, and in the last he got a first prize in the school. So being disabled, they have done wonders. Okay, because of your lack of knowledge, such kind of a students, and even the some kind, even the in some situation the normal students, okay, so they are not getting success in the life because of the teacher, because it is a research. Research says that the outcome of the student depends upon the teacher. Right? If the student is not good, it means teacher was not good. Right? So guys, this is the reason why the B.Ed or M.Ed is mandatory to become teacher and principal. Where we were? Okay, ये हो गया हमारा. Okay, next, importance of inclusive education. What is the importance? First, identify and determine the special needs of various children free from physical defect. Second, before they reach a serious condition, first of all measures should be taken for their prevention. ये देखो second point बड़ा important है आप लोगों के लिए, right? This is the most important. Because of your negligence, means I'm talking about the negligence of the teacher and the student. Okay, at a very first stage, they do not see that. Okay, तो क्या होता है? What happened? Ultimately they reach on the serious condition. For example, okay, the student of a first class, he was getting a low number. Okay, second class may also low number, third may low number. Nobody is checking that. What is the problem behind it? Why he is taking a very less number? What is the reason behind it? Okay, तो क्या होता है ultimately when he reached on the 9th or 10th class, वो जो whatever the problem was there, you can find out and you can solve the problem at a very first class or second class. But what happens up to the 10th class, that problem becomes so big, you cannot handle it. Got it? So importance kya hai? What is the importance of inclusive education? First, identify and determine the special needs of a various children free from physical defects. If you are a teacher, you are a principal, you should know in your mind how many students in your class. It should be on your fingertips. This is your duty. This is your first duty. Anything else? Right? Because teacher is the torch bearer of the society. Guys, हमारे यहाँ तो it is called that teacher is the real image of Brahma in the Hindu Shastra. It is called that. Teacher is the Brahma. Teacher is the God who gives the light to the society. Right? And even the research says that due to the teachers, country develops. Okay, because research says that because all the countries like Singapore, like Japan and others, okay, they got the independence during the 1940 and 1950. We also got the independence in 1947. Okay, where we are and where those countries are, you can see that research says that they have the better teacher over there. In India, still there is a dearth of teachers. There is a lack of a good teacher, skilled teachers, right? So before they reach a second I am reading. Before they reach a serious condition, first of all measures should be taken for their prevention. This is the importance of inclusive education. And third is to provide education to the student through various innovative methods of working, keeping in view the learning problem of the children. Guys, you are the teacher. Okay, every time now you shouldn't teach with the same stereotype knowledge. You should be aware of the new innovative techniques. You should teach the student with new innovative things. Okay, so whatever is your performance would be depends upon the outcome of the students. And trust me, guys, I'm telling you from my last 20-year experience. Okay, if you have updated by yourself, you are a good in technologies, you are a good in all the teaching methods, you are a good in philosophy, psychology, teaching learning process. Okay, your all student would be they would be the bright student. They would get a very good marks, because all depends upon the quality of the teacher has, right? Fourth is rehabilitation of a physical challenge children. Fifth is importance of inclusive education to provide education information about the learning problem of a physical challenge children. Next, to provide information about the learning problem of the physically challenged children and to prepare group organization for improvement. Find out the disabilities of the children and try to redress them. Right? So if in your class there are 30 students and in your schools you have 2,000 students, you should know it. Okay, there is a record of each and every student. Okay, next step, features of inclusive education. Right? So ये वही है features और importance almost ये same ही है, right guys? So we skip this side, this slide. So now we come the next important subtopic under the inclusive education, barriers to inclusive education. This is the most important. After this, we will talk about what are the steps, few measures to implement inclusive education. Okay, so first of all, we should know about what are the barriers. Now we have come to know about what is the inclusive education, what is the need of inclusive education, features of inclusive education, right? Importance of inclusive education, inclusive teaching and learning. Now we should understand what are the barriers comes in inclusive education. Number first, वो देखो वही है I was talking. Lack of teaching skills in teachers. Lack of teaching skills, right? So guys, you should know how to teach, how to motivate, right? How to encourage the student, right? This is the reason B.Ed or M.Ed is a mandatory course. Second, social attitude. Right, sometimes that na, in India's many having the they discourage the privileged student by creating a societal perception that these people are not able to do anything. Guys, you also have seen na teacher he start giving a label, he's not a good student. Okay, and our history is saying that since independence, we are ignoring this class. We are ignoring it. What we are doing that in our class, in our school, if there is any son and daughter of any judge, any principal secretary, any minister, any doctor, we start giving a special attention. Why we are giving a special attention only to that student? All the students are equal, right? So social attitude also, it is one of the barrier. Physical barrier in terms of the student. Okay, if they have a very serious physical barrier, so such problem comes. नेक्स्ट है सिलेबस। अब आपने देखा होगा, यू हैव सीन दैट 10-15 years before, है ना, there was very hard syllabus, there was very difficult syllabus, and you have seen that from the newspaper, many students, okay, they, if they didn't get the good marks, or they started doing the suicide. You have seen it, right? So actually it doesn't affect only the special students, but it affects the normal student also. So guys, syllabus should be very simple, right? So it should be understood by the average students, below average students, and intelligent students. Or what is a class? Class क्या होती है? What is class? Every day you take class. Class is a miniature of society. In a class, there are some intelligent students, some average students, some below average student. And what is your teaching skill? Your teaching skill should be, you have to prepare a lesson in this type. You should satisfy the needs of intelligent student, average student, and below average student. Only that person is called effective teacher. Okay. Right? So this is the important. Actually, if the students are intelligent, they will do by themselves. So what is the significance of your teaching? The significance, importance of your teaching skill is that if the student is low, if the student is below average, okay, by your teaching skills, you motivate, you encourage the student, he got a good marks. So syllabus should be flexible, right? ये barriers आते हैं. If the syllabus is a difficult, तो ये barriers है for the such kind of a students, special students. Barrier to Indian education policies. Education policy hinder or create obstacles in the way of an inclusive education. Teachers or schools remain within the preview of a policies that create problems in it. So there is a need of a change these policies, okay? But new education policy is a very good in regard to inclusive education. Okay, so you must read the new education policy. Okay, now we talk about what are the few measures for implementing inclusive education. The government of India needs to bridge the gaps in their education system to build a strong system of inclusive education in the country. So there are following measures for better implementation of an inclusive education in India, right? What are the following measures? Number one, right to education. It should be implemented strictly. ये देखो, right to education must apply to all the citizens of India. What is the right to education? Right? So right to education act should be applied to all citizens of India. State and central government as well as the other social actors should recognize the importance of a broadened concept of inclusive education. Preparation of a teacher for rural special education programs should be planned to integrate disabled persons in their own environment and community. ये वो है, few measures हैं, right? Inclusive education should be flexible and must be reflected in the method and material used to give these children the widest possible access to the regular curriculum. Okay, a school-based support team should develop strategies for the whole school to meet the needs of learners with special educational needs. Guys, these all the points now I have taken from the notes which already I have given to you. Okay, so after this topic, you go through the notes, all the questions, all these topics would be easily learned by you. Last, the parents have the right to be involved in all decision making concerning their child. They should be seen as partners in the education process. Okay, so this is the responsibility of the parents also, right? Okay, ये सारा आ गया. अब now we talk about the RCI Act 1992, Rehabilitation Council of India. Right? We will discuss a little bit history, concept, salient feature, who can apply RCI courses and function and responsibilities. So first we talk about the history of a RCI Rehabilitations of India. The rehabilitation of a persons with disabilities in India has been receiving attention during the last 5 decades since independence. Hardly, ये देखो, this is an important line. This is the reason I have written, even in your notes also. Hardly any planned effort were made in this field for developing trained manpower which could help in rehabilitation of a persons with disabilities in India. The year 1981 was declared as the International Year of a Disabled Person by the United Nations. It was therefore decided by the government of India to set up a rehabilitation council to be responsible for training policies and program, to standardize the training courses for professional dealing with persons with disabilities, to grant recognitions to the institutions running these training courses, to maintain a central rehabilitation register of the rehabilitational professionals, to promote research in the rehabilitation and special education. There is a one council, RCI Council. He was enacted on 1st September 1992 in order to regulate the training of the rehabilitation professional and maintenance of a central rehabilitation registers and for matter connected therewith. The major objective of RCI are as follows. Number one, regulate human resource development in rehabilitation throughout the country. Certified qualified personal and professional in the field of a disability, ensure quality standard and uniformity in the rehabilitation program offered throughout the country. Rehabilitation Council of India Act 1992, right? Now this is important. What are the aims and salient features of RCI Act 1992? ये एक्ट एक बना था, it was in 1992, Rehabilitation Council of India. So what are the features and aims of this? Number one, to regulate training policies and programs in the field of a disability rehabilitation. To standardize training courses for professionals working with people with disabilities. Okay. So guys, ye kya tha? What is that? Basically, you are doing the B.Ed or M.Ed, na? It is called B.Ed or M.Ed in general. Are you getting my point? It is called B.Ed or M.Ed general. Okay. There is one more class, B.Ed or M.Ed in special education. Okay. For example, you have to do the B.Ed in special education or M.Ed in special education. So you have to go for, under these, RCI जो courses हैं, RCI centers हैं. Under the RCI centers, you do the B.Ed in special education and M.Ed in special education, right? So that's why, it is written to standardize training courses for professionals working with people with disabilities. Okay, so those who does the B.Ed with special education or M.Ed with special education under the, RCI colleges, right? So they get trained over there. The special educators, now you have listened the name of a special educator. You are a general teacher basically. Okay. If you in your class, there are some special education student, okay, 3 or 4. So there is a need of a special educator. So special educator is one who has done B.Ed or M.Ed in special education under this, right? So these are the aims and salient feature of a RCI Act to prescribe minimum standard of education and training of a various categories of a professional working with people with disabilities. Next kya tha? What was the, salient feature of RCI? To recognize institutions, universities running degree, diploma, certificate courses in the field of a disability rehabilitations. RCI है, कई centers हैं, लेकिन this year तो आपको पता है, it has come under the NCTE. राइट ये भी क्लोज हो गए हैं, राइट सो ये भी जो B.Ed और फिजिकल इनकी जो स्पेशल एजुकेशन और M.Ed स्पेशल एजुकेशन, इट हैज कम अंडर द NCTE फ्रॉम दिस ईयर. To recognize foreign degree diploma certificate awarded by the university institutions on a reciprocal basis. Who can apply for the RCI accreditation process? तो ये सारे हैं, ये अप्लाई कर सकते हैं RCI प्रोसेस के लिए. ठीक है. रिहेबिलिटेशन काउंसिल ऑफ इंडिया कोर्सेज कौन कौन सी हैं? सर्टिफिकेट, डिप्लोमा, PG डिप्लोमा, डिग्री एंड दिस. Okay, I have given you the example. Now, B.Ed or M.Ed you can do under the Rehabilitation Council of India. Okay, but this year I'm talking ना, ये आपका old syllabus है, right? From this year, the news has come. ये भी जो courses है, that has come under the NCTE. You know ना what is a NCTE? National Council for Teacher Education. It is a apex body of a B.Ed or M.Ed. Okay, it approves the B.Ed M.Ed courses running throughout the country. Okay. Okay, the last topic is the models of inclusion. Right? ये जो models है ना, इनको पढ़ लो. Right? Read every model. Push-in model, full inclusion model, partial inclusion model, Wang adaptive learning model, team teaching models. These are the models for special education students. Okay. So you should be aware of that being general teacher. Right? So first Richard Wilkinson and Kate wrote. ये definitions बड़ी important है. That's why I have written. इसको देखो, पढ़ो इसको definitions को. Student performance and behavior in educational task can be profoundly affected by the way we feel, we are seen and judged by others. When we expect to be viewed as inferior, our abilities seem to diminish. Right? So guys, do not put a label to any student. His student is weak. He can do nothing. Okay, he cannot get a good marks, right? So models of inclusions. Okay, now we talk about models of inclusion. अभी क्या होते हैं? What is a model of inclusion? Inclusion आ गया ना? Inclusion means inclusive education. Inclusive education models are brought into force by educational administrator with the intention of moving away from seclusion or isolation model. Earlier जो पहले चलता होता था, okay, earlier क्या था? You know, actually since independence na, special education students na, government started making a new schools. Okay, these are called the special schools where these kind of students are being taught, right? So this model talks about it is a moving away from isolation model of special education to the fullest extent practical. The idea being that it is to the social benefit of general education student and special education students alike. Yes, this is called the education actually, in real sense, where the teacher has to teach the disabled student, special education student, or normal student under a single roof. Okay, so what happens when the special education student is studying with the normal student? He gets confidence, he gets brotherhood, he gets, sense of unity, right? So when we separate these students now, so they get the inferiority complex. They cannot get good in coaching, they cannot get good in learning part, right? So these model talks us, this model, these model, please mute guys, please mute. So these model talks about where the general education student and special education students, okay, we teach. Model of inclusion ascertain the collaboration between general and special education teacher. Ab dekho what is happening. We are teaching to the normal student and the special student. So naturally, in some cases, there is a need of a special educator. So what happens in a class? General teacher and special educator both teach in a class. Okay. So model of inclusion ascertain the collaboration between general and special education teachers. It indicates the sharing of the responsibility of the needs of all the students by both general and special education teacher. Okay. You got the point now? Okay. Suppose in your class, okay, you have a 30 students in the class. Please guys, please mute that. Why you have, please mute all of you. Okay, thank you so much. So, what is happening? You have a 30 students in the class. Okay. In a 30 students, 4 or 5 students are special education students. Okay. They're having a problem, disability. So what happens in this case, one general teacher and one special educator, they takes the responsibility to teach to the students. Okay. So these are called the models. So push-in model क्या कहता है? Okay, try to understand the push-in model. One popular push-in model is collaborative or teaching, where the special education teacher instructs side by side with general classroom teacher. Got it? आगे ना clear हो गया ना? It has cleared from the first line. Where the special education teacher instructs side by side with the general classroom teacher and to provide instruction and support to children. This is called the push-in model. I think it has cleared, right? In detail, you can learn from the notes, right? With this approach, the general education teacher and the special education teacher work together in close collaboration. The focus is to ensure students are receiving full access to the general education curriculum while limiting the any disruption to their daily schedule, such as pulling student out of the classroom. Okay, this is called push-in model. Next, a full inclusion model. Schools that practice full inclusion will teach all children, regardless of learning disorders, in a standard classroom from the time the student enrolls. Okay, yani both students, special education students and general students. Okay. If the special needs child performs and functions according to the expectations, full inclusion may prove to be a viable long-term option. Right? अगर वो समझ आ रहा है उसको special education students को तो, right? However, if full inclusion does not meet the student's need, special education teacher may visit the classroom periodically to provide supplement instructions. If the student continues to experience difficulty, then the school may switch to the partial inclusion model. Got it? And what is the partial inclusion model? In the next slide, this is the partial inclusion model. Though the partial inclusion model emphasizes allowing special needs students to interact with their peers socially and academically, it does not require that students remain in the standard classroom for all lessons. In many cases, what is happening? If there is a severe, severe cases of special education students. So in this case, what happens? In many cases, student will meet the special education teacher or speech therapist in a separate class to avoid disrupting the learning dynamics of the standard classroom. Special education teacher will remain in communication with the regular teacher to ensure students are able to understand and complete coursework. So guys, this is a collaboration of a general teacher and special educator teacher, keeping in mind that to uplift the special education students. Got it? So these models are for those. This is a very popular model. This was Wang Adaptive Learning Environmental Model. अब इसमें क्या था? One of the most multifaceted programs to integrate special education students into the classroom is the Wang Adaptive Learning Environmental Model. This model was designed to create school learning environment in which all the students can learn basic academic skills and increase their confidence in their ability to cope up with the social and intellectual demand of the school. In this model, ये टेक्नोलॉजी बेस्ड था. टेक्नोलॉजी बेस्ड एडेप्टिव लर्निंग सिस्टम और ई लर्निंग सिस्टम कैन प्रोवाइड स्टूडेंट्स विद इमीडिएट असिस्टेंस, resource specific to their learning needs and relevant feedback that students may need. Right? Technology based tha. You have seen na, if the student is, usko nazar hi nahi aa raha. Okay. For example, there is a very severe problem. He can't see even that. So technology based adaptive learning model, then it is the best suited for such kind of student. Right? Last, a team teaching model. As the name suggested, team teaching is also called the collaborative teaching or co-teaching strategy. It is used for different subjects, especially in middle grades, with the help of a different teaching method. To provide supportive environment, there are teams of 2 or 4 teachers working collaboratively to prepare lesson plan. Up now what is happening? There is a team of a 2 or 4 teacher in the class. Okay, they are providing instructions to the students. And what are the benefits of the team teaching model? The benefits of the team teaching model is it creates effective fun learning. Teachers can use their knowledge effectively together, keeps co-teacher involved in a class, allow for shared ideas, including enrichment and differentiations, break up the monotony of a one person doing all instruction, creates many spontaneous teachable moments. Right, guys? So that was the last model. Okay. So thank you so much for these lectures. So today we have done the, 3 major topics of this paper, inclusive education. One, we are done with inclusive education, then RCI, and then models of inclusions. Okay. So I have given you I have given you the notes. You can see from the notes. Having any problem, you can discuss with me. Thank you so much, guys, for this class. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, ji. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir.